It's funny sometimes the reactions I get from some of my videos on here. And in most cases, when people agree with my opinion or what I'm saying, they might hit the like button, maybe leave me a short, nice little comment, but then they pretty much move on. But when I make a prediction that the majority of people disagree with, the comment section lights up, sometimes for days at a time. Before the Rockets Thunder series started last week, I made a prediction that Oklahoma City was going to win this series in 7 games. By the time I checked the comments the next morning on the video that I did, after the Rockets blew out the Thunder in game 1, and especially after game 2, I'm not going to lie, it was brutal. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. This guy never played a sport in his life. The Rockets are going to sweep the Thunder. This is the worst video I have ever seen. He's disrespecting the veterans in Houston. He's just repeating things he heard in the media. And on and on and on it went. First of all, most people in the media were picking the Rockets to win this series against Oklahoma City. So me picking the Thunder actually put me in the minority. And to be fair, most people that commented on the video, they were respectful. Their comments and their opinions, they were okay. I didn't mind it. Some people weren't. Some people were just typical. That's the way it goes, though. It doesn't bother me. It's no big deal. I actually like it that way. But I find it really funny how deadly silent the comment section on that video is now. Suddenly, the series is tied 2-2. And all those people claiming that I don't know what I'm talking about since I picked Oklahoma City, claiming the Rockets were going to sweep the Thunder, all those people, they're nowhere to be found. It's crickets in the comment section. Now, I'll be honest with you guys. I was beginning to doubt my own take after the first 2 games of this series. I was starting to think that the people commenting were actually right. I was wrong. I was starting to think that maybe I had overestimated Chris Paul and the Thunder. But the past 2 games of this series are exactly how I saw this series going. I figured if the Thunder could keep the games close in the 4th quarter, that they would win. And the reason I thought that was because Oklahoma City is the best clutch team in the NBA. They were 30-14, 30-15, something like that in close games throughout the regular season. That's why I said this team was battle tested. Over 60% of their games were decided in the final minutes of the 4th quarter. And not only that, the Thunder don't just give up when they are down double digits. Unlike the Clippers, who Doc Rivers calls an emotionally weak team, the Thunder are emotionally strong. They're resilient. Oklahoma City has 9 wins this season when they have trailed by 15 or more points. All of this was on display in Game 4 on Monday night. The Thunder's resiliency, never giving up, coming back from double digits. All this happened in Game 4. And to all the haters that are hating on Chris Paul, saying that he folds in the postseason, he is the one leading the charge in Oklahoma City right now. The Rockets should have won Game 4. They had the momentum. They were on fire from the 3-point line to start the game and to start the second half. Houston made 8 straight 3-pointers to start the 3rd quarter. This flurry of offense usually would deflate an opponent. I mean, what can you do when a team is that hot from the 3-point line? And these weren't wide open 3-point shots either. It wasn't like the Thunder weren't playing any defense. They were playing tight defense. I mean, Robert Covington made one with a hand in his face. Eric Gordon made a step back contested 3. James Harden at this point of the game was looking unstoppable. It looked like the Rockets were well on their way to going up 3-1 and pretty much closing out this series. So what do you do at this point? You do exactly what Oklahoma City did and what they do best. Stay the course. Oklahoma City didn't panic. They didn't let the Rockets scoring get them down because Oklahoma City has been here before. They knew, hey, let's just keep this close. We will get them in the fourth quarter. At one point, I saw Dennis Schroeder go over to Chris Paul and get in his ear, making sure that he was staying focused, not getting down. And CP3 responded. While the Rockets scored 24 straight points from the three-point line, Chris Paul sneakily scored 11 points. The Thunder at this point were basically trading twos for threes. But Billy Donovan was fine with that because he knows with the Rockets, at some point, the shots will stop falling. And that is exactly what happened. After that barrage of three-pointers to start the second half, Houston went cold. They were 1 for 7 to close out the third quarter. The Rockets went 5 for 26 from the three-point line the rest of the game. And as a result, the Thunder went on a 12-0 run, outscored the Rockets 44-26 in the final 15 minutes, end up winning the game by 3 points. Now, the series is tied 2-2, and the Rockets are in real trouble of losing this series. And my prediction of the Thunder winning in 7 is coming to fruition. Here's my problem with the Rockets. Some people think that I don't like James Harden, I don't like this Rockets team. That's not true. My problem with the Rockets and why I liked Oklahoma City to win this series is, well, number one, I'm not a fan of the small ball lineup. You guys know that. But also, Houston is way too reliant on the three-point shot. The problem with that, if their three-point shots aren't falling, they're screwed. James Harden went cold late in Game 4. He could not buy a bucket. Shot 12.5% from three. The field goal percentage, 25% late in the game. The reason I point out James Harden there is because when he and the Rockets go cold, they go cold. There is no in-between. It's either hot or cold. And we have seen a collapse like this with the Rockets before. 2018 Western Conference Finals. They missed 27 straight three-pointers in Game 7 against the Warriors. When you are so heavily reliant on threes, shooting slumps are inevitable. They are going to happen, which ends up getting into your head. The pressure starts mounting. Just look at what's going on right now with Paul George and his shooting slump. Now, Houston came into this series with all of the pressure on them already. Oklahoma City's playing with house money. They weren't supposed to be here. This is why I said that Houston would miss the hell out of Russell Westbrook in this series. When James Harden struggles and the threes are not falling, they could rely on Westbrook for mid-range baskets. They could rely on him to get to the free throw line, slow the game down, slow down the Thunder momentum. And what happened to this elite Rockets defense that everyone was talking about the other day? You don't understand the Rockets' defensive style. Yes, I do. I mean, it's quite simple, actually. James Harden described it better than I could after Game 4. He said, if we don't score baskets, we don't get back defensively. Basically, what he's saying is the Rockets' best defense is their offense. If they can't kill you with the three-pointer, they're screwed. Houston is most effective defensively when they can eliminate transition, play in their set defense where they're constantly switching defenders, confusing their opponent. But when shots aren't falling, they're not getting back, and Oklahoma City's getting easy shots. Billy Donovan has figured out that his three-guard lineup of Chris Paul, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Dennis Schroeder is his best lineup, especially in crunch time against the Rockets. He used it in overtime in Game 3. Used it throughout Game 4. Oklahoma City is going to win this series, just like I said last week, because they know that they can survive this onslaught of three-pointers from the Rockets. It doesn't matter if they're down 10 points, 15 points, 20 points. As long as they can be within striking distance with 5 minutes to go, the Thunder know that they're going to win the game. Now, speaking of Billy Donovan, and this is not a knock on Nick Nurse, who just won Coach of the Year, but Billy Donovan should have been Coach of the Year. I understand that the Raptors lost Kawhi Leonard, and they're still one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. But we all know that the Western Conference is much tougher than the East. What Billy Donovan has done with this Thunder team this season, who no one thought was going to make the playoffs, they were supposed to be a lottery team. What Billy Donovan has done with this team of young players and Chris Paul is nothing short of remarkable. And I think he should have been Coach of the Year. At minimum, he should have at least been considered for Coach of the Year instead of only getting something like 4 votes. That's just my 2 cents on that. I'm out of here. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button for me. Click the notification bell to receive all updates from the channel. Leave me a comment in the section below. Light me up again, you guys. Let me know that I am crazy for still thinking that the Thunder are going to win this series. Tell me why the Rockets are going to pull it off. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Have any questions or topic you'd like me to discuss, you can email me at BTLKC84@gmail.com. I will see you guys next time.